This is the penultimate episode. Probably the second to last time we ever see any of these actors.
Yeah, well, I'm still praying. I'm still praying for a second season, man. It feels like a second season's happening. I think mostly because the ARK has maintained its core. It hasn't, like, dropped viewers every week.
Yeah, but I mean, they've canceled some really good shows after one season.
True, but I mean, what does this cost them? Like $1.50 to make? Come on.
Trepidation before it began, because I'm like, I talked about it. I was a little bit down from last episode. I was like, what are they going to do with this one? They kick it off right where they left off with Garnett doing the infiltration. She's walking down the hallway, and she didn't seem that affected by the thing that we found so amusing, all the tchotchkes and lamps and glass unicorns. And
I guess maybe because nobody described it to her as, an Earth's looted vast storehouse of treasures, that maybe she just thought, this person really likes tchotchkes.
She thought she was in Spencer's Gifts all of a sudden. That was so weird.
They had a neon flamingo. In looting Earth of Treasures, you bring the neon flamingo.
So my thought was, cool tracksuits. They should probably get those on ARK 1.
Yeah. Everybody needs a jumpsuit, man. It makes you look official.
But then it turned out that that's for the security people, and that's kind of what gave her away, because her first violent confrontation was that guy who happened to confront her when he was all alone and there was nobody in the hallways.
But when he asked her who she was, what did she say?
What's her name?
Denise.
Yeah. Oh, when she's caught off guard, she can't maintain her Sharon facade.
Exactly. She's doing an infiltration mission with a possible threat of violence. Her Denise personality is coming out.
I just think when she gets flustered, she can't maintain the lie that she's been living for years.
There were never two of them. She never had a twin sister.
It was always her.
It was always just her.
Denise is like Tyler Durden.
Exactly. And she was Tyler Durdening her way around the ship because that's what she needs, Denise.
So you're saying that's confirmation?
Not confirmation. That is a strong hint, but I am on the right path.
You should say it's absolute confirmation, because they're probably not going to address it next episode. There might not be a season 2, so you can just claim victory and not get called out on it.
But they put that there for a reason. You don't just randomly call yourself Denise.
I mean, I do, but So after that first confrontation, my thought was just take off the jumpsuit and walk around in a T-shirt. Yeah. It's like, as we've seen from every ARK we've ever seen, if you're wearing a T-shirt and cargo pants and have a man bun, you can walk anywhere and nobody will notice you. Man buns have lived on into the future, sadly, but just Denise should have put up her hair in a man bun and put on a T-shirt and walked around.
Yeah, exactly.
Denise, I call her Denise. Oh, it's happening.
Well, then she Denised out and beat the shit out of the two guys.
My thought was, oh no, what are you going to do? Somebody's going to come walking along. And I just pictured her taking one of those rugs off the wall and just draping it over their bodies. I wrote a note that said lampshade on head. I mean, you need to hide a body. Where are you going to bring them? And there's a lamp right there.
Yeah, right there. That would have been perfect.
Just put the lampshade on the head. Nobody would have noticed.
I gotta say, though, actress playing Sharon is really good at stage fighting.
She got assaulted by the mass mutiny the one episode. She was tearing up shit.
She practices this stuff, and she's got talent because she just whomped all over him, and it looked real, and it looked good.
Flying knee when she came out on that other guy, It was
love the flying knee.
You got knocked the fuck out!
Angus.
Did you see when Kelly was talking to him and Angus is looking out the window, and you can just see on his face when he just realizes how crazy she is and decides to play the game, and he turns around and just starts manipulating. I thought that was an absolutely wonderful scene. You could just see realization dawning on his face of what he was going to have to do. And then he turned around and he got to it. Okay, you're going to use whatever weapons they give you. And Angus' sexiness is the only weapon he's got.
At the beginning of the episode, I'm like, dude, Angus, you're going to get rescued, so fuck her.
Hit that.
Just do it. But then Kelly starts getting turning up the Psycho Hosebeast to 12. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, God.
You saw what I did to Helena Trust, right?
If you betray me, it'll be the last thing you ever do.
It's probably a good thing you didn't do that because
I don't know. It would probably be pretty good.
oh god, she unleashed the psychotic this episode. Oh my god.
Yeah, she did.
The creepy dinner scene was weird, and the interactions between the mom and the daughter's weird.
I still think she's either a robot or a clone. I mean, she's got to be.
Well, her story was that she was primarily raised by her dad, who's not around anymore, and mom was in Europe.
Yeah, in a laboratory. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for her to be popping the necks of grown men.
They really do need to justify that in some way.
They justified it with Sharon because she's, half tard. That's what I call her for short.
We totally called the show out. We're like, no, she's not going to do that. And then they totally backed us off and we're like, no, see, she's a tardigrade. And they needed tardigrade Kelly or Spider-Man Kelly or whatever.
Yeah, she's some sort of thing.
They're at the dinner and
oh no,
Clampkin's attack. It's coming right for you.
Suddenly a Clampkin. No.
Clampkin's attack both on Evelyn Maddox as well as Lieutenant Bryce.
Clampkins was raging. The doctor who was overseeing Maddox had no idea what exacerbate meant.
I missed that.
When he said space travel will exasperate symptoms.
Space travel seems to exasperate the disease.
Oh, poor guy.
Space travel will exasperate these symptoms, he said.
From some points of view, that could be true. That might not be a false statement.
I mean, that's why Clampkins was attacking. It was, exasperated.
It was just really pissed off. So Maddox goes down, Bryce goes down. What it comes down to is you got to put a clock on things. That's just like a big literary technique. And sometimes people do it clumsily and sometimes people do it subtly. This time...
a little clumsy.
It was a little clumsy. But still, how much cooler would it be to be a brig guard on Arc 15 than Arc 1? Because you get a nice plush chair to sit in. How creepy was it where they had, when it's time to get really scary and like torture somebody, they bring in the guy who's all like oiled up and has the tank top bulletproof vest on. Are you a rapper? Shiny with no shirt and a bulletproof vest. Well, that's like what 50 Cent usually does back in the day, Like, what the fuck, dude? You can tell things are really stressful on Arc 1 because Felix has his top button undone.
Oh, yeah. That was the first crack in the shell. There's stress. And didn't he just, randomly get called to Kat's room at some point in the middle of all this? She's lonely, so who's the first person she thinks to call is Felix? Really? The least chatty person on the ship?
I think deep down inside, Kat's looking for, a gay best friend to go shopping with.
The impulse is strong, and even though he's not bending...
Yeah, he's totally not falling for it.
He has not been on this at all.
When Bryce actually starts seizing and he spends the end of the episode in the medical bed, he's seizing and the doc, she's still I'm shaking.
Yeah, why did she freak out there?
He's seizing and she backs up and freezes and she's she didn't actually say I'm the worst doctor ever, but she basically said that.
Is. Yeah, she is bad at her job.
At the end of that whole sequence, Felix says to Eva,
Eva, please come with me.
But
there's nothing you can do for him. He's in good hands.
She was there. Eva was there for the whole scene of the doctor freezing up and acting like an asshole. And as the doctor is doing that, he was like, do something. So when Felix says he's in good hands.
He has no information to base that on.
I thought this was good because it was a little bit of a callback.
this was a bad idea. Let's go.
Angus! Plastic tray to the head.
Boom! Plastic tray! Oh, no!
It was a plastic tray, and he hit her on the head. If she was a robot, if she was a cyborg, do you think she'd be immune to a plastic tray to the head, or no?
It's much like that little switch between Data's legs. That's where her off switch is.
Press your fingers there, Doctor. It operates almost as a switch.
And these small projections?
That's why he bonked it with...
Oh! I've been a nurse on a floor with a patient who's a prisoner many, many, many times. And the one thing that never walks into that room is, number one, a metal dinner tray. And number two, a plastic dinner tray. It's styrofoam. Plastic, you can cut a motherfucker if you...
Yeah, they want to make sure you don't break an end off and slice your own wrists or something.
He bonks her on the head with a styrofoam tray and he hits the switch. That was a cool scene, though, because that was the first time we've seen Angus do anything slightly manly or awesome or cool.
But when the time came, man, Angus was a man of action.
He stepped up. Funny thing, this is actually my last note because it deals with the credits, but I've never watched the credits, nor have I actually looked up the show as far as the cast and looked at their names because, we had so much trouble the first 3 episodes with everybody's names, trying to remember them. And I figured that it was kind of cool to see just how organically the show was able to imprint people's names in our heads. So I didn't want to fuck with that. But now that we kind of got a handle on everybody's names, not 100%, because I could be like, Angus, what's his last name? I don't know. I don't think they've ever said it. Don't know.
I'm going to assume it's Mangus.
I was going to make an AC/DC joke.
Angus Young.
His last name's Young. He's Angus Young.
There you go. Yeah.
Young. So the credits are rolling, and I noticed that number 1, Yelena Griff is her name. It's not Gryffindor. It's not Griffin. It is Griff.
Huh. Okay.
Number 2, Yelena is spelled with a J. It's Jelena, but it's pronounced Yelena.
Interesting. Serbian thing.
But then immediately under her name is Cogner. Her first name is Stella. And the actress playing Stella Cogner, her real first name is Jelena, pronounced Yelena. I have no doubt. Okay, so here's what I'm saying is once they get the cast all worked out and they're doing table reads and they're preparing, at some point you think somebody would be like, hey, couldn't she be Yelena just to make it not confusing as fuck? Because why wouldn't you do that?
Okay, so scenario, I see this table read going on in my head. That complaint comes up. It starts a big argument. Everybody's like, well, why can't I use my real name then? Blah, blah. I want my name.
Oh, it's a Reservoir Dogs. Why do I have to be Mr. Pink? All right. That happened. That so happened. Yes. They totally Reservoir Dog that table read. Damn it. Hey, ARK people, somebody from the ARK, somebody is listening to this. That happened. I dare you to.
Yes.
I dare you to call bullshit on that. That happened.
That is too plausible to have not happened.
That's the only explanation. Release lever.
Release lever. It takes a manual release lever. Weren't you excited to see manual release levers for the first time ever in this show?
When the lockdown happened and all the doors shut.
Yeah, that seemed like horribly inefficient, stupid.
There's no manual release. Like, he had to go in and hotwire the doors.
Yeah, there should be a handle right there that just pull for manual release. It took them 15 iterations of the ARK until somebody decided they needed a manual override for things.
They finally apply a manual release lever, and it's not a redundancy as much as is a massive hindrance.
True, but before he released the shuttle, he used the manual release to close the door.
That's true. So they do exist on the ship at some point. It seems like a bullshit design where you'd have to manually release a lever.
Yeah, that seems weird. Maybe it's some sort of emergency thing that they just leave permanently engaged or something because they're paranoid.
Whatever thing you come up with for an explanation is like coming at it from the wrong direction, because the direction they were coming at is Lane needs to be either captured or killed or whatever.
Yes. Yeah, that was really a separate lane lever. That wasn't a release shuttle lever.
Yeah. And here's what I thought was going to happen. The inclusion of tardigrade DNA in Sharon Garnett. One of the things mentioned is that she can actually survive for short times in the vacuum of space. I thought a good solution would be Garnett pulls the lever and then jumps out of the airlock and gets into the ship in some kind of cool way. And she's all damaged and burned. But hell, we've seen that before, just like 48 hours ago. It seemed like everything was funneled in that direction. But I guess they came up with just this story plot of Lane being captured, sacrifice, and then they kind of backwards, they retro wrote it. So I don't know. But doesn't it seem like that would have been a thing?
Yeah, it seems like that's an easy solution to that whole situation.
And then the big, scary nose gun, green alien crystal shooting thing blew up.
Because they hacked it.
You hacked it.
They hacked the system.
That's like what you do in Hollywood when you want to make like Independence Day. You give it a virus, you hack it, and yeah. After the cannon blew and they had their little back and forth, Felix and Eva, Did you notice that he smiled for the first time ever?
I did. Yes. Yes. I just about thought his face was going to crack.
He's smiling, and I see he's got his top button undone, and I'm like, oh my God, Felix is losing his shit. He's about...
That's the Felix equivalent of jumping around and screaming.
Yeah.
One thing that didn't happen in this episode that I was sure was going to happen, I wanted a Sharon Kelly throwdown, and that has yet to come up.
I think they Mephisto'd Kelly. They're just going to have us believe that her little 95-pound wayfish ass broke a grown man's neck.
I really hope they don't do that. They explained it with Sharon. They need to explain it with Kelly.
She's like a combat prodigy for some reason. We need an explanation. I demand one.
We need a why, and hopefully that comes out in 12. I'm thinking in episode 12 we're going to get the revelation that Sharon and Denise are the same person, and that Kelly is a spider DNA variant, and the two of them are going to find some excuse to have a throwdown.
They have what ARK 15 wants. They're going to have a cure for clampkins.
Yes.
They'll be able to trade that.
Yes. They could trade that for Spencer.
They're definitely going to successfully cure clampkins within the first 5 minutes of next episode.
Well, I don't know about that.
They're not going to confine Bryce to a bed for the entire episode. So he needs to be up, moving around, rocking shit, doing his thing. So 5 minutes in, Clampkins cure achieved, and then the thrust of the episode will be leveraging their Clampkins cure to give Maddox what she wants. Kelly, I kind of assumed that at some point she's going to come over to the light side.
What I think is, their Clampkins cure didn't work. So where's the missing ingredient? It's Kelly's blood. That's why she was cloned in the first place.
Wait, I was going to ask, robots have blood? But Kelly will be pivotal in the cure, and they'll have to work together. I don't know. I don't have a lot of legitimate predictions for next episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways it could go.
I am primed for next episode to blow my ass away